welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. With us tonight, we're going to start out by talking with two ladies who are representing the Portland-Columbia Symphony Orchestra. With me, I have Betsy Hatton. You are the executive director and violinist for the orchestra.
Correct.
And Ann Van Beaver, you are the board president, and you play the English horn and oboe.
That's correct.
Nice to have you both here.
Thank you.
So the Portland-Columbia Symphony Orchestra, I understand, started out, if I remember correctly, as a volunteer orchestra initially, but it's kind of morphed and changed a little bit through the years. Can you tell me how old is the orchestra and what is the structure of it now?
This is our 34th season, and it's our 11th season here in East County.
Okay.
So we're very happy about that in particular. Even though we were volunteer as such, we're all trained musicians.
Right, it's not an amateur organization.
It's not an amateur organization. And over the years, we've started paying the musicians, and rather poorly, as many orchestras do, but they are compensated. And when I say professional, I'm talking about people who, in one way or another, make music their life, but they almost all have other day jobs.
Oh, okay.
And
the ones that pay the bills, right?
The ones that want to eat on a regular basis.
Details,
you know. But I believe it was 2008, there was a statistic that came out that said that there were 14,601 people who graduated from conservatory level, meaning the highest level of some form of music school. So 14,601, there were 159 openings that year.
For professional musicians?
In
major orchestras.
In major orchestras.
So there's some competition there.
So there's a ton of competition, but we fill that gap between wonderful community orchestras and fully professional orchestras like the Oregon Symphony.
Right, right.
We've got trained people who went to Juilliard and Curtis and Rice who have made other careers their bread and butter,
yeah.
but they still need that professional performance outlet. So,
so they have their passion is fulfilled by doing that.
And there are a lot of people who ended up going into music education. You know, like for myself, I teach a lot of students, and I'm not alone. There are many, many people in the orchestra who also teach music. So,
was your original idea to be a performer, perform music for your livelihood? Or did you?
It was a thought in the back of my mind. Let's put it that way.
She's an attorney.
I also have a law degree.
You're an attorney too. Oh my! Well, you do a lot of things, don't you?
I started out in music, then went to law, and then back to music again.
Okay, okay. Music law. There you go. So people do all sorts of things. So what kinds of other jobs do people do from the people that you perform with? Do you know? Do you have attorneys? What other kinds of
attorneys, doctors, lawyers,
software people,
accountants. Music is extremely mathematical. If you think about it, you know, rhythm is sound divided by time. So there's all this mathematical computations going on full time in a brain, and it goes very hand in hand with being able to process music.
Which is probably why I've never been a musician. I remember my daughter, when she started taking music lessons, that helped her math a lot.
It does.
It does, and there's been study after study that shows that.
Yeah, that was impressive to me.
Yeah, and then even the study of the brain of a musician shows that there are more synapses that connect the two halves, both the artistic half and the logical half. And so they don't know whether that's a result of the music or you're musical because those actually are already there.
It's the old chicken and egg thing.
Yeah, it is, exactly. But it's documentable, you know, at this point. It was always theorized upon, but now it's pretty much fact.
So tell me about the performances that you have, the music that you play. How is it different from other orchestras in the area?
Let me speak to that a little bit. Sure. I think we have a couple of things that make us stand out from other orchestras. One is, as compared to some of our major fully professional orchestras, for example, the Oregon Symphony, we're a lot less expensive. It costs a lot of money to go to an Oregon Symphony concert nowadays, and you can come to a Portland-Columbia Symphony concert for a lot much less. We also try to focus our mission a little bit on performing music that's rarely heard in a concert setting. And this next concert is a perfect example of that. We're playing a very unique piece by a man named Michael Doherty called Fire and Blood. I don't know that it's ever been performed in this area before, so that'll be something different. We also like to perform music by regional composers from the area. And we sometimes perform brand new pieces that have never been played before anywhere else. premiere.
Wow.
So we try to we certainly play lots of familiar music also for the typical concert
But
goer.
you do expand people's horizons by a little
Yeah.
bit, some regional composers and some new music. How do you find the music? Who makes those choices, and where do you find it? Do people send it into you, like new composers or regional?
Sometimes
yeah.
they do. Stephen Bias is our new music director and conductor. He's had one full season under his belt, and then this is the second season, so we're halfway through that. He has a wide range of, he's conducted at the Super Bowl. He rides motorcycles. He's got a very eclectic background, and
So his networking circle is huge, probably.
conducts opera. Knows, and as actually this Fire and Blood piece that we're doing, he was one of the cover conductors, who means he works with the orchestra for its premiere in Detroit in 2003. So he has a vast knowledge of music.
So he brings his own knowledge to help us select our music, and then people suggest things to him, and
Check it out and go from there.
Yeah.
And he tries to balance, the what I call the dill pickle with the tuna fish sandwich, where you'll have something new and maybe it stretches your ear a little bit, but it's balanced with something that's familiar and well loved.
Explain to me, I noticed that your season, you call it Portland CSO 360, is that right? Portland. I think we have this is, if you want to get a shot at that. Portland CSO 360, what exactly does that refer to?
Well, I think it was Stephen's idea that he wanted to visit all aspects of music, and we just generally say 300 years of music and look at it in a panoramic view. And again, this concert is sort of an example of that, where he started out with the 20th century Prokofiev Symphony No. 1, which pays homage to Mozart and Haydn, so it's a very classical structure. And then you have the Fire and Blood by Doherty in the middle, that was written in 2003, and then we finish out with the Coronation Mass of Mozart with the First United Methodist Church Chancel Choir, and that was written in 1779. So you have a wide range of years that they were written, but you have a similarity of styles. They were all inspired by different events that happened, royal family, the music of Haydn, and then, of course, the murals by Diego Rivera that were for the Detroit industry that were entitled Fire and Blood.
So, so the mural, and I think you have a picture of the mural, so maybe they can bring that up so we can look at that. So the mural is actually what inspired the composer?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, there are actually 4 murals. This is just one of the walls that's inside a courtyard at the Detroit Institute of Art. And Edsel Ford, in 1932, was familiar with Diego Rivera, of course, was married to Frida Kahlo, Mexican,
One of their
famous
heroes.
muralists from all over the world. Also very much into the labor movement, because he was, both of them were very highly
activists.
active in the Mexican Communist Party. And so Detroit, being the working city that it was, he was inspired to do these murals based on the sights and sound of the factories that he witnessed in Detroit.
You can see all the people there at the bottom, the workers,
all the laborers,
working.
yeah.
So you can see the fire here. And then, there's one plant called the River Rouge Ford plant and automotive plant. And that was the blood, the Red River,
Red River was the
kind
blood.
of idea that was carried through, as well as that theme permeated Frida Kahlo's paintings as well.
Yeah.
And so he loved Detroit. She not so much. So, and that, like they said, he carried a pistol, she carried a flask while they were here.
A very interesting couple.
Yes.
Yes, so Michael Doherty was inspired by these murals to write this 3-movement violin concerto. And one movement is called Fire, one movement is called Volcanoes, so it's the fire part. One movement is the River Rouge, that's the blood part, and I forget what the name of the last movement is. Do you remember?
I might be able to look at my notes. Assembly line.
Assembly line, right.
Okay.
So it kind of shows the mechanical putting together, and it has a lot of, ratchet sounds and the percussion equipment banging on anvils and things like that.
And brake drums.
When was this written? You said
2003.
That's right,
Yeah.
you said it.
So, and then we are very fortunate and lucky to have Ida Kavafian, who's well known to Portland audiences as she comes nearly every summer with Chamber Music Northwest. And she is a wonderful, fiery violinist that premiered this piece when it was first.
So she'll be your guest violinist.
She is, yes.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
So this is taking place on, what's the date for this?
March 18 and 20,
Okay.
and March 18 is in downtown Portland, and the 20th is at Mount Hood Community College,
So you always
3 p.m.
do
we
both
do,
locations.
yeah, we do
So
both
people don't
locations.
have to go so far if you live out here?
No, and that's
Mount Hood?
that's in our mission
Yeah.
too, is to
yeah,
be
to
in the
reach
community.
out, make it accessible to people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, that kind of ties into a question about, I was reading about Meet the Beat and audience outreach. Tell me about that side of the Portland Columbia Symphony Orchestra.
Well, all nonprofits in the state of Oregon are public benefit corporations, and we take that very seriously. And one thing I was going to say when you talked about what makes your concerts different, you might be sitting next to people who receive some free tickets from social service agencies. We give tickets to 44 agencies
That's a
and
lot.
37 schools to try to get them to come.
44 and 37?
And 37. And the social service groups really use them, and they prize them highly. In fact, there's one group that we give them 8, and all 8 are always used, and there's a waiting
that's
list.
nice. Really?
And I said, we can give you more. And she said, no, we keep them special.
Because people
Because
covet
then
them and
they plan.
they kind of reward.
Yeah, they plan all year for their one outing that
That's
they get to come
great.
to.
That's great.
And we get wonderful comments about generosity and the safeness they feel,
Right.
and the acceptance they feel when they're able to hear music.
You know, in the schools too, there's so many kids probably have no exposure to music like this. Good classical music, and being able to open their minds to that is great if they use them. You know, you have to.
Sometimes you have to. Those are a little more like pulling teeth to get the kids there because
But once they go,
they're
I think
so
a lot
busy.
of kids are. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not
Well,
'cause
yeah,
they
that's
don't want
true.
to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that they don't want to, but you know,
Yeah.
a kid can't come unless he can convince an adult to come with him.
Right. Right.
So that I think that families are just busy nowadays. And
Yeah. Well, I think those families should find the time once in a
well,
while.
my
once in a
parents
while.
did when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and I'm so thankful for it. I
Yeah.
really am, because giving you the arts in some form, whether it's music or going to museums or going to plays, whatever it is something that really sticks with you for your entire life.
It does. And you know, there's so little of it in the schools now. You know, so little music instruction, art instruction,
Yeah.
or even learning about art. You know, whether it's not necessarily actually taking the classes
art
or how to do it,
history,
but art history and
yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, the one thing we do with Meet the Beat is we have our symphonic safari, and where it's a concert that's based on some sort of generally an animal theme of some sort. The
Okay.
music is that, and it sort of paints a picture of the animal in your ear, and you get to safari through the orchestra while we play. So you get to be right in the midst of the orchestra. It's generally the adults that have the most fun because they've never been in there, but they're the most impressed. But talking about the schools, we try to find any classroom. Doesn't mean it has to be music or art. It could be English.
Math.
It could be math, where they will accept a CD and our little lesson plans that we do and ask the kids to create some sort of a project inspired by what they hear on the CD.
Oh.
So it could be a poem, it could be a piece of music, it could be rhythm, it could be dance, it could be a
Just a
paper
drawing,
paper
it could
mache,
be-
a drawing, and then we'll display those. And at times we've let kids come up and recite their poetry.
So do you display them at a concert?
We
Is
do.
that- oh, how fun.
We do.
That's great.
And we're working with, especially with this, because the inspiration obviously is the Diego Rivera murals, to find a classroom who will be doing a mural at the concert.
That's
To see if they would, be able to have a group of students who will do it before and then intermission and then after to try to complete a mural.
How fun. I love that. And getting them involved like that is
So if there are any teachers out there who would like to take part in this,
talk later. might know some. So if people are interested in attending your concerts, or if they want to, if they are an organization, are you taking any more requests from organizations that might want to
the outreach
have
tickets?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
So if they wanted that, they go to your website. Is that the best?
Yeah, go to our website and they can find a phone number there because we do, if we're doing outreach, we like to make personal contact
Okay,
with,
that makes sense.
yeah, with the people and talk about, because there is some cost involved to us
Sure, of
in
course.
sending out materials and
Yeah.
making CDs and doing a few things. And so we like to sort of make sure they get into the proper hand.
Make sure they're going to get used.
Well, we can't always ensure that, but at least we're getting them to the person who will distribute them and make use of them.
Understand what it's all
And
about.
yeah,
too.
and understand what they are.
Yeah.
And it's a very, I don't know, gratifying thing that we do to get other people in the door. Many of them don't think that a concert hall is for them.
Right,
And
right.
so-
Well, a lot of people, I think, have an impression that it's stuffy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have
We're
to
not.
wear really nice clothes, and if I don't, you know, somebody will look down on me. And
That's one of the wonderful things about Portland. You can wear literally anything
That
to a
is so
concert and
true.
be perfectly
yeah, and there'll be somebody else who's dressed similarly enough. You won't feel
either
bad.
better than you or worse than you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The people on the stage are the stuffy ones because we wear tuxedos
Right,
and long
right.
black. But you know why? Do you know why that we wear those?
No.
Why we look like waiters?
Why?
Because we were waiters.
Oh.
And if you could afford music in your home, we also served you your soup and then sat down, played the flute, the violin, cleared your dishes, played another movement, that kind of thing. So we actually were the servants in the house. And wearing the long black and the tuxedo was our uniform. And you would have been arrayed in your gorgeous finery.
Just my finery, I love it.
And so the rest of the world has dumbed down, and we've still maintained that particular look. And now
Well, I didn't
many
know
people
that.
say
That's
that
interesting.
we're servants of the music.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's you kind of are, and you're serving it to all the
Yes,
patrons of the
yes.
arts. So that's great. Anything in particular you're really looking forward to in this concert? I know you have the guest violinist who's
Yes,
going to be fabulous.
I'm definitely looking forward to hearing Ida Kavafian play this piece. It's something that she's got great reviews. Stephen Bias, our conductor, has heard her perform this before and has nothing but wonderful things to say. So I think
sounds
that'll be
great.
really exciting.
And then there's one more concert after that.
Correct.
And that is in May?
That's the end of April, 1st of
End
May.
of April. Okay, okay. And that one is titled?
American Innovations, and
Okay.
it's with Sarah Buchner, who's a pianist out of Canada. Victoria, is that where she lives? Can't remember.
I'm not
Anyway,
Somewhere up north.
yeah, somewhere up north. And music of, from North by Northwest.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. And then we're also premiering a work by Christopher Theonides, called Dreamtime Ancestors. And we were one of 50 orchestras chosen to premiere this work. They're premiering it in each one of the 50 states.
Really?
Yeah.
And you were chosen for
And
Oregon.
we were chosen for Oregon.
Congrats. That's impressive.
So-
Good. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fabulous concert, and so if people are interested, they can check out the website, find out more of the details, the where, when, the how to
we
get
should-
tickets, and
We should probably mention also that you can buy your tickets right on the website.
online.
There's
That
a
makes
little
it so
place
easy.
to click.
So you don't have to do it the day of.
Or at the door.
Or at the door.
either way. And you can wear, gosh darn it, whatever you want.
You may wear whatever you want.
You can.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Betsy and Ann, for being here tonight to tell us all about what's going on with the Portland CSO. If you are interested, you go to their website. We should have the information on the screen. It's going to be a fabulous concert, and they'll be back again next year. So
Yes, thank you,
thanks for
Monica.
watching. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more.
Coming here to shoot my documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera, one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera, two.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera, three. Take three.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.